You are now listening to the sounds of DJ Rob and Sapphire. Welcome to the KonnecT.
What up, world? This is the wonderful and beautiful and handsome and very intelligent new president of productivity and production on this show. I gave my position up to Saf. Now she's the executive producer, DJ Ra.
He didn't give it up, people. I looked up the definition.
Just tell people who you are. We ain't got to get into that.
What an executive producer versus a producer is, and Ra found out he's not the executive producer, but the producer. So he's then given himself an additional title of being president of production.
This is so childish. She just can't be happy for me. So again, she is Sapphire. She hasn't mentioned who she is. Who are you? Can you tell the people who you are, please?
I'm Sapphire Hope Wonder. This is the KonnecT Show on Wu-Tang Radio. We're so glad for you to join us yet again for more fun and information. That's what we should make this called. Fun and information.
You can't just change the rules in the ninth inning. Jay-Z said you can't do it, and I agree with him.
Let's try in the seventh.
But anyway, I'm DJ Ra, and I'm here to tell you that the weather out on the East Coast is rain or rain or rain. Matter of fact, right now I got my flippers on just in case the rain turns into a monsoon.
You do have on some water shoes coming in here like you're about to go to a water park.
It's my turn. Why, when it's my turn to tell people what's going on?
We're not in front of a judge show. You don't get turned.
See, since I lost my executive producer, now she's being very disrespectful. This is what happens. This is what happens. But
never disrespectful.
But I must say that it's wet. I did get a chance to go to a baseball game yesterday.
What he said.
And it was very fun. The Yankees won. Really don't care. I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm more of a Mets fan. But the stadium is beautiful. It's a new stadium. They made a lot of improvements on it. And I had a good time. I really did. I had me a pretzel, which I'm still trying to get rid of.
You said it like that was...
Those big Bavarian pretzels. And
he said I had a pretzel.
And I dipped it in mustard. And I had a...
oh, you did?
I had a light beer, which I only took 2 sips of because I had a long ride home. But with that being said, I'm doing what I need to do this summer and trying to enjoy the summer since this is a summer of fun for DJ Rock. Sap, what did you get into besides being stranded in the streets and taking my title?
Stranded in the streets and taking your title. Boo hiss. First of all, it was just interesting for you to talk about a pretzel like it was a delicacy. I thought that was very interesting on your part.
It was to me. That's not something I eat every day. I'm sorry.
Like it was caviar. I had a pretzel. Anywho, yes, my car abandoned me. If you want to look at my personal Instagram page, I'm at Sapphire Hope Wonder. That's Sapphire with an H. And
where you putting the H?
It's SAPPH. RY.
I need to put our names on the bottom. I can do that.
Oh yeah, you should do that. Put our names down there so people know how to spell it.
That's something we can do.
Yeah, let's look into that.
Definitely.
Anyway, I said an H instead of an I, but you know what I meant. You know where I was going with those letters. So anyway, you can find me on Instagram. But what happened was my car just coughed to a stop, and I haven't gotten it back yet. And that was, what was that? Last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been almost a week now. So I don't know. The mechanic said something about some melted, hardened coil in a hole in the engine, and being lucky that the engine didn't just implode.
So with that being said, we're starting to GoFundMe to give her an up-to-date vehicle, maybe 2005, 2006. And hopefully, the GoFundMe, we only need $1,800, because we probably can trade her car in and get about $450. That'd be $22.
Don't you do him like that. Let me tell you something about Cool Whip, because he's a car that's white, like Cool Whip, and he's a cool car, which makes him
Let's
cool
get
whip.
into these stories as we move on.
He's definitely worth more than $450, at least a good $1,000.
Well, we want to start the show off, and again, GoFundMe at getridofcoolwhip.com.
Don't you get rid of Cool Whip.
But we want to start the show off with
get rid of Cool Whip.
something that I saw on the news the other day, and this is a It's a lot of horn blowing, but it's actually a road rage that happened in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
So if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to actually see the video.
But you won't be able to hear much if you're not watching us on YouTube. You just hear a lot of horn blowing, and we'll try to explain to you what is actually happening. So with that being said, check it out. So the guy is swinging some type of box cutter at him. Yes, as long as you see this thing moving right there, we are being recorded. Oh, wow. He's swinging something at him. He's not hitting him at all, but...
There's just some swinging action. It doesn't seem like they really want to fight.
He has something in his hand, so it looked like a box cutter or maybe a razor.
I wonder who that is honking.
The people behind, they're trying to move. His car stopped. Traffic is stopped. Now the other guy took something out of his car. I don't know what it was, but this is where the craziness goes. Look at that. Look at that.
Who's the guy with the tire?
With the tie? You mean?
With the tie.
He's just stand by trying to stop them from fighting.
Oh, well, the guy who got smashed is still standing. I thought he really got hurt.
But it looks terrible though. He has to be hurt. He's just flowing off adrenaline. So, but with that said, I'm saying it's something about the East Coast and this road rage thing where, I catch myself cussing people out because people do, real ignorant things in cars. But I don't think
it's just on the East Coast?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna live on the East Coast. I don't know what happens on the West Coast. I'm saying it happens everywhere, but I'm saying on the East Coast, they really. When I downloaded this, they had over 15 different videos this year of road rage, of fights and brawls, and it's ridiculous. Everybody's in a rush to get nowhere, and New York traffic is ridiculous. So I know it definitely happened in probably L.A. But with that being said, just be careful. There's no reason to get killed on your way to a dentist appointment. I mean, you have good teeth and no heart pumping. So, with that said, we're going to get into the first story.
So unfortunate. Okay, so, at least my first story is talking about something a little more positive than road rage. It's called scholarships. And what it is are college scholarships that are for students whose parents are locked up.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So, the young lady who started it, Yasmin Arrington, she actually said that she was looking for scholarships and she saw so many scholarships available for people. She saw, scholarships for parents who were in the military or had deceased or whatever, but she didn't see anything for people whose parents were incarcerated. So that's why she started this program.
Had to give him applause a little.
That's a little silent applause, isn't it? Oh, there you go. Clap it like you mean it. Ha! So, like I said, it's scholarships, and it's all one word. If you'd like to have more information or if you'd like to do any donations, it's helped out plenty of students. She actually started off with the Jack Kent Cook Foundation Scholarship Program, which I had no idea about.
Which you see right on the bottom if you watch it on YouTube.
If you can see it, you can look at that. They have a Young Scholars Program. They have a college scholarship program, as well as an undergraduate transfer scholarship. So she began there by getting a scholarship and getting into school. And then she began her program to help young students who needed assistance because, like I said, they had a parent that was incarcerated.
So again, I got to give another applause on that because I think that's pretty good because you got a lot of kids that are actually, missing their parents or whatever, and they always fall into trouble. Not always, but a lot of times they can fall into negativity because the father's not there, the mother's not there. They start feeling nobody loves them. So with that being said, I think that was a pretty good thing going on there.
Absolutely, especially depending on who has custody of them. Because if they're raised in the system, they may feel a little lost and like nobody's on their side. And how could they move forward to achieve such a big goal like going to college? So I thought that was very noble of her and impressive indeed. All right, so let us talk about a young lady by the name of Dorothy Jean.
Norma Jean?
I said Dorothy. Her name is Dorothy. Dorothy Jean. Dorothy's special. If you could make that caption a little bigger so people could read it. 12-year-old Chicago girl graduates with second degree, plans to get her master's.
It's something about Chicago students, because I know the Nation of Islam always have the who's who in high school students every year since the last 20 years. So it's amazing, though. It's something about Chicago. They definitely have something going on there where these kids are actually embracing the knowledge of the experience of learning.
Well, there's an interesting duality that happens because they always get a negative rap in Chicago because of violence.
Right.
So very rarely are people talking about, hey, there's a lot of positive things that are happening out of Chicago as well. So with that being said, she received her bachelor's degree. And, you know, there was also a 72-year-old that graduated that same day from Alexia College. So shout out to the 72-year-old as well, because I'm sure she lived her good life.
Little too late. You're 72 now. You know what I'm saying? Now you're trying.
It's never too late.
The 12-year-old is doing the damn thing.
It's never too late to get your education. Don't let his haterisms affect you. Anyway, so she was always clearly very intelligent, and she wants to help the environment. So what Dorothy Jean says is, with environmental engineering, it's all about helping people, the environment, and that's just what I love to do. That's what makes me happy. She wants to encourage students, all students, to engage in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
That's the key. STEM, that is the key.
Programs and that have increased since stuff like Black Girls Code. So yeah, Dorothy Jean, also nicknamed DJ.
Definitely, she deserves an applause as well for that. I think, you know, we hear so many negative things coming out of Chicago. It's definitely great to hear some positive news, you know, because positive news don't sell, negative news sells.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's talk about Mo Melanin. Mo Melanin. Emo Melanin. If y'all want me to do y'all background music, I got you. Mo Melanin. Mo Melanin. All right, so if you got some people with Mo Melanin, get it? With Mo Melanin? Even though this is Mo Melanin. And this is a beautiful story. There was actually a couple that started this company, and they decided that they wanted to make some motivational products for everybody. So they make backpacks, they make notebooks. The picture that we have here with a variety of people. You got astronaut, nurse, students, business people, very diverse. So you can order this, you know, it's back to school time. So if you've got a student that you'd like to impart with a little motivational melanin.
More melanin. I guess that's a new word to say instead of saying Negro. Like, yo, I'm more melanin.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, when I heard, what's the girl's name that said she was pansexual?
Pansexual.
Yeah, and I was like,
something new every week.
I looked up the definition.
Something
it basically sounded like bi. What's her name? She was in the movie with the three ladies who did the NASA project. She's the singer.
Oh, you talking about Janelle Monáe?
Janelle Monáe. So when she said that she was highly melanated, I've been saying that ever since. Me too.
Matter of fact, her album is banging. I was listening to it in the car. She really, I like the one, you know, she actually, the video where she actually, a bunch of her dancers are actually the labia of the female genital part, and she was explaining to them the importance of it, and you know, she's very creative. I got to give it to her. So shout out to Janelle Monáe.
And I did see the outfits, and I was like, oh, I get it, because at first, you know, I didn't really understand it.
So keeping in that same vein, flexing in my complexion, I thought was an awesome segue, because that's a pretty chocolate young lady there.
So she's 10, and she started an anti-bullying campaign with this t-shirt line called Flexing in My Complexion.
Complexion.
You said
complexion.
Okay, whatever.
We can go to the videotape. Wow. I may not be the executive producer no more, but I am
the guy over there
the president
with the microphone.
of production,
who always is on
flow.
his haterific bestest mode.
Production
haterific. Anyway, so this young lady was being bullied by classmates, even as beautiful she is, because of her complexion. So her older sister helped her start this fashion line. Her name is Kiris Rogers. And her sister stepped in, Taylor Pollard, and was like, she would cry and talk about how she didn't like her skin tone. And she helped her boost her negative into a positive by way of grandma. Grandma was the one who was like, "No, girl, you got to be flexing in your complexion."
I'm about to say that sounds like an old situation.
No, it didn't. Flexing in your complexion, I wouldn't have saw my grandma say it. Well, yeah, I could have saw my grandma say it. But anyway, so yeah, they've started this line. So if you know anybody who, could use, once again, some motivation, here you go. Flexing in my complexion, beautiful shirts. I plan on purchasing from both of these companies for Nunu, actually.
Well, actually, we should get 2 shirts for both of us, and we're gonna do a show wrapped around that.
Oh,
that'd be a wonderful
exciting.
idea. Yeah.
Yay! I'm gonna make a star. Mo melanin and flexing in my complexion. Yes, because Nunu's gonna need some back to school supplies, and I think that'd be really cute to get her backpacks and pencils and notebooks. Anywho, with that being said, we're going to go on. So apparently with the NFL kneeling, they're saying that there's some good news. So
I heard they suspended it, the non-kneeling thing.
So what's happening is it has been suspended. Because, in May, the league, the NFL, introduced a new policy saying that players and team personnel had to stand for a pregame playing of the anthem or remain in the locker room. And that the NFL would fine teams if their players kneeled, but leave punishment to the individual teams. So after further review, it's not going down. And the NFL and the NFL Players Association is going to battle about it. And there seems to be a disagreement about the policy. They agreed to halt any enforcement while they try to get a better solution going. So that the guy that's residing over the country right now had something to say about it. But
we don't care.
I don't really want to get into it very much, but I'm glad to see it was suspended, because the point of the matter was never about all of the other things that people wanted to make it about.
Right.
And we've talked on the show many times that it was never about the military.
I don't even know how it got to the military.
I told you.
That's just weird.
I told you several years ago they started making a military thing to help boost that.
Oh yeah, we talked about it in this show around 2007, 2008. The NFL started amalgamating because matter of fact, the national anthem is something new. Played an NFL game, so. But anyway, yeah, I'm glad to hear that though. And I'm pretty sure that players are going to do what they need to do, and do what they need to, how they feel.
So yeah, there was a lot of controversy around this, and if you believe that this was about the military, that's unfortunate, because that's been a propaganda that was sold to you, basically,
and it's not real.
Never about the military at all. This was all about brutality from the police, and you can't even deny it because there's too much video out there. Let's go to R. Kelly.
Putting out a song that's 80 minutes long. Take your whole day to listen to all that, what he's sorry for.
And he didn't even say sorry. That's the interesting thing. So R. Kelly puts out a 19-minute song. I don't know why it wasn't just an even 20. Just throw the extra 60 seconds in there and be like, I made a pee on the floor. But that's not what I was going for.
He was smart enough not to put anything substantial in there, but saying that he did do some things wrong, but never said exactly what he did wrong.
Well, let him tell it. With the things he did wrong were being uneducated, a little freaky diggy. So he puts out this 19-minute song called I Admit, and he was trying to explain what happened with some of the things that he's been accused of over the past several years. Actually, it's more than a a decade. I think it's going on 2 decades now.
Now, again, I mean, I must say the accusation, he has never been proven guilty on any of them. So,
Yeah.
but it's just that you have a group of people, like it's like with the O.J. Simpson case. Some people believe O.J. did it. Some people believe he didn't do it.
No.
But the fact that the legal system said O.J. was innocent is regardless of the conversation. So he did have a legal battle. He was found innocent of all charges.
What's happening is that let us not forget.
Forget what? That he married a 15-year-old with the parent with her parents' permission.
Let us not forget that currently he's being sued for the herpes giveaway.
That's not illegal.
Which it should be. Like, why is
it's the chance you take. I mean, every step I take.
Speaking of which, I heard that Usher was now teaching yoga overseas. But anyway,
hope none of that stuff leak out.
Well, because
we don't even know if he really has it. But we know the
Usher
young lady that lied.
Young lady, he was being sued by 2 women and a man.
Young ladies
and a man. And a man.
Okay, we're not gonna get.
I could look it up. I could look it up.
No, let's keep the show. Let's keep the show going. That's how we always get derailed.
I'm just saying, so that we can talk about what we talk about. Anyway,
no, but that's not part of the story.
Well, y'all can look it up.
R. Kelly's not leaking the juices yet. We don't know.
Well, we don't know. But what happens is that there's been so many women that have come out, but some of them, because of time passing or whatever,
statute of limitations. You can
no longer be prosecuted. Some of the women that are with him now have said some things. His ex-wife is saying some things, but like we're talking about statute of limitations. So there's nothing anyone is saying at this moment. Nobody's like, 2 days ago was forced into
but
something.
He was molested as well. So
and
hurt people hurt people.
He did talk about that in his I Admit song. And that's true. Hurt people do hurt people. And he talked about the fact that he was a functioning illiterate and that he actually signed over his catalog because of that. And that's why he still has to tour.
Yeah, he's struggling financially.
He said he's broke.
Yeah, he's struggling financially, not knowing what he was doing. But again, I must say he has never been convicted of a crime. So, and that's what I don't understand is like just your accusation is enough for destruction. In a country that lived, they're always talking about justice. If you're accused of something, you need to have your day in court. But he ain't got nothing to lose, so they can't. I mean, they are protesting him a lot in some of his concerts.
And the girl never said that she didn't do anything with him. It was more of she agreed to do it, and it was a statute. It was a statute of limits.
She agreed to do what?
So when a girl got on the stand, she was past the age
that was
she
smart.
had originally
because it was 6 years after the actual tape, so she was 21, 22.
So
looking like a grown ass woman.
So of course he wasn't going to be convicted. It would have been different if it would have happened right at that time. And she says she consented. So
yeah, she wanted to be peed on.
She wanted to pee and be peed on. Where is my child? I feel like uncompromising.
Okay, we got children
position.
in the studio now. She's just joking. It's not real.
No, I'm not. She's outside of the studio. Anyway, so his ex-wife put up some lyrics to the remix, and she started saying that, basically he committed some domestic violence and wanted him to get mental help. Here it is with the picture of Celie. Till you do right by me, nothing good is gonna happen to you. So,
I mean, has he ever been convicted of domestic violence? I don't think so.
No, so they were married for 12 years before she filed.
And
for
so
divorce.
my thing is, if he beats you, and listen, use the legal system as much as you can. Don't wait until 30 years after the fact to say, "Oh, he beat me," and then you
after the Me Too movement gets involved,
right? And then the psychiatrist says, "Well, you can't tell a victim how to feel." But I don't understand if Saf was to hit me right now, I'm calling 911 because I know if I hit her back, she's not going to wake up. And when they get here, I got to explain why she's flipping on the floor like a fish.
First of all, I'm a suplex you. Don't get beside yourself.
Saf is straight thug.
Know what
she from the rough side of the farm, bro.
I'm just saying, we are not about to even pretend like I'm going to just take that L and just fall out. I mean, you better hit me in the right spot on my jaw. One of the things that I did know is that they had 3 kids together.
Okay, shout out to his child. I wonder what his kids thinks about him. I mean,
I don't know, but why did they put in
weird.
an article that one daughter is identifying now as male? I wonder why that was a highlight in the article. Like, why they put that out there?
It's just part of the agenda. Put it out there, like us, when Cher got all back into the news when her son or her daughter became her son, and they was talking about how they had a disconnect. But I don't know. I think that's very strange that they would put that in the article, and highlight it. But again, you don't know the agenda of some of these writers. With that being said, let's move on.
Let us move on. Now, if you go to the dollar store and you're like, hey, I'm saving some money, because I do that all the time. I go to the dollar store and I save money and I buy products that may not necessarily, be at the same price at a regular store. And it's okay. So recently I found that I was watching this on the news and I was like, what the? How many people know about this? And when I see something, I bring it to you. So what they did was they went into just a little, and it wasn't a brand name dollar store they went to. All right. They didn't go to like a Dollar Tree or Family Dollar, but I encourage everyone to be on the lookout. Because of so many dollar stores, there's some products that are coming in and you may not really be paying attention to what these products are.
When I saw this, I was like, oh my God.
So note that on the picture we have up of this Colgate.
If you're watching on YouTube, become a YouTube follower. KonnecT Show
us on
with the
YouTube.
K.
There's apparently some things happening where Colgate, for instance, is being manufactured in South Africa. So you would have to actually look at the box to see who's making it. And it says things like, that it's made in South Africa, and it may say fluoride, but it may be spelled different, or, you just have to pay attention to how things are spelled on the box.
So the question I asked, since this is in the dollar store, because I just bought some Colgate from Walmart in the car. So after this show, I'm gonna go and check that out, because I'm wondering, because the price is so different. They try to say that South Africa Colgate is what they call inferior.
Well, usually it's a different size, so you're assuming that it's a different price because it's smaller. What they're saying is they meet in some of these foreign companies a lower quality control standard.
Yeah, so it is. It could be possible inferior, because if you get it from China, it can have lead in it. ACT. Your teeth be white as hell, but your tongue be disappearing slowly. All that acid.
Where my tongue will go, I don't know. So what happens is, like, for instance, back in 2007, the FDA put out a warning. Toothpaste from China had
Diethylene, which is illegal in America.
Glycol.
Oh man.
Which was actually poisonous.
Yeah, they put that in paint.
And yeah, it was found to contaminate the toothpaste. So yeah, that product
So in other words, don't take your cheap ass to dollar store to get some of your oral kits. Take a dollar store to get you some pop or some toenail clippers.
And you still need to look at
for real, because you maybe get
the label
from Hong Kong.
Exactly. Like, just be mindful of what you're getting, because sometimes what you get, you paid for it. You know what I mean? So if you paid $1 for it, it may turn out.
There is such a word called hypervigilant, and what that means is that you look at everything before you put it into your body, lotions and everything, because again, they have lotions that comes from South America that actually has something in it as a preservative, so it can last longer during a trip. So it's like a cocoa butter, but you put it on you and you start getting migraines and start getting pimples on your face if you use it. So you got to be real careful where this stuff comes from, because again, lower standards, especially with this new administration, they letting in and everything in. They letting it go. The EPA don't care. The food and the FDA don't care.
The FDA is saying
never cared
that this chemical at low doses may be all right, but sometimes it's in antifreeze. I mean, it's just used in some ways that you shouldn't be. It's a component in brake fluid.
Exactly.
Lubricants, wallpaper strippers, artificial fog.
So, but yet, it's okay. They say it's in low doses.
It's okay for you to take.
I always say, well, take the low dose, give it to your youngest child, and let's see the results.
Now, why you want to do that?
I'm talking about the FDA, the president. I mean, whoever is making these decisions, the president.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that they're not going to take the risk of getting some fake toothpaste, and I don't even get toothpaste with the chemicals in it. My toothpaste is completely like a powder that just is baking soda and a couple other elements, and that's it. Okay. Like something from some vegetables. So if you really want to, be on the up and up, maybe you should do that. Okay, so the moral of the story is get your cheap ass into Walmart or to Target, get some real stuff. As we move on to the show with Anna Diop. I didn't realize that people who were into comics could be so racist. It's so weird to me. Because comics, I want you to look at these two characters. People are actually like Teen Titans fans, are salty that Starfire is black in an up and coming movie. And I'm like, really? Because she's orange. Like the character herself as a black female is going to be orange. She's going to be freaking orange. So they're upset that she's going to be orange or that she's black? That the black actress who's playing her is black, even though the character is orange. So you like these nails. The broad is orange, and they're like, "Ooh, but why is she black?" But what difference does it make because she's orange? Yeah, that's great. So, there's supposed to be a new animated movie. Starfire is a female alien with creamsicle color skin. You know, creamsicle. And she has scarlet hair, and she's supernatural and fake. Like, she's not realistic in any way, shape, or form. Which is crazy. So people, like I said, people just need something to be mad at. That just don't make sense. And she's beautiful. Very like the actress is beautiful. So the fact they're a little salty because she's going to be orange. I was like, do y'all realize how stupid you sound? She was actually harassed on social media. And the young lady's name, by the way, is Diop. So her name is Anna Diop. Okay. And she was actually harassed on social media. Yeah, she turned her comments off on Instagram to minimize her presence, and they're upset because they're not getting exactly what they want. Okay, as we move on, I just thought that was stupid. Your president is orange. You don't seem to be mad at him. So I can orange comes in all kinds of colors. Yes, it does. And as we talk about the Amazon recognition. Oh no. Let me tell you something. I didn't even know that this was a thing. So I had to look up what Amazon recognition was on Amazon's page. Of course, Amazon is going to be like, oh, it's amazing. Amazon recognition is used to cut down on things like trafficking of people, right? So you can search image and video libraries. There's a face-based user verification. This is off the Amazon website. They can get unsafe content detection. But what the recognition did, because you can use this recognition to scroll for things, right? Okay. So if you look for, you were on the Brooklyn Bridge and you want some images of that, maybe a book with images of Brooklyn Bridge, but you don't know what the name of the book is, what you could essentially do is put in a picture of it, and it could bring up everything that it has in Amazon pertaining to the Brooklyn Bridge, which in one hand you'd be like, this is awesome sauce, until things like this happen. And it matches 28 members of Congress to criminal mugshots because it's not that scientific. So the ACLU was like, hey, let's just test out this facial recognition. And it said that after scanning the faces of 535 members of Congress against 25,000 mugshots, Amazon basically said that about 28 members of Congress related to these mugshots, so that they are criminals, basically. So what would happen is, and I understand your confusion.
I'm just trying to figure out. So it says deep learning based image recognition services verify and organize millions of images. So images means that, okay, it is doing facial recognition, correct?
What it's mainly using is color.
Okay.
The problem is, let's say you're just trying to be like, let me find out how much information I could find out about Sapphire, and you put my face in. If it dings me as being a criminal, you could block me off of Amazon. You could flag me.
Yeah, even though it's not real.
Even though it's not.
It's a familiarization. So again, the technology hasn't been perfected.
So I wouldn't be able to sell anything to you, though.
No,
if I had like a little sales store and I've got my face on a book and my face gets dinged for being some chick who got arrested for an assault charge, then I wouldn't be able to sell my book anymore.
I'm trying to figure, how is it facial recognition? It's more facial guessing, because if it's not really taking pinpoints of facial points there, because your face is everybody's unique, unless your face is fat and everybody is round. So, but with that being said, I think this is one of those stories where we just gotta keep following up on it, because hopefully the technology will get better. But
they said it was results of poor calibration.
And that makes sense. I mean, they did make $12.6 billion this quarter, which is 1,200% more than they made last quarter. So Amazon doing the damn thing.
They are, but my point is that you got to be careful with when you're talking facial recognition of any kind. Period. You just got to be careful, because now you're starting to get people's livelihoods and freedom at stake. Because when you're saying things like we're trying to catch traffickers,
but that's the thing. Somebody may get dinged as a trafficker, even though it's incorrect. They could be with their child, and if they get held up at the border in certain countries, you get locked up. It's a whole thing. So they making light of it, but it's just again, when you have that much money and that much pull in the commerce of America and a free market, you get to experiment and harass people as you see fit. Nothing you can do.
Well,
because you can't. If you sue them, they got more money. Right now, the Soros is the richest man on the planet, so he can keep you in court forever.
He could, but I don't think he will want that kind of publicity. And at the end of the day, I didn't agree at any point for you to put my face through a public database. So I don't know how you're searching millions of mugshots.
Well,
anyway.
If you take a picture on Facebook, you no longer own that photo. Every picture that you have of yourself on Facebook is theirs, and they get to sell it and do what they want with it. Then
they can sell it?
They can do anything they want with it.
This is part of the priprivacy that they're being talked about in the first place, because I didn't know they could sell your photos.
When you signed up, they told you that Facebook will own all photos and all comments that's on their page.
But they didn't say they would sell it to third-party sites.
No, but again, why do you think the advertisers, that's how they make money. They sell your information to advertisers. That's why on your particular page, you see certain things that I won't see on my page.
Well, my page, I don't have any good advertisements. That's why they just shoot in the dark for me, because I don't have enough information. That's why I stopped messing with Facebook. Well, and I told you I don't have it on my phone. Like, they wanted too many permissions for me. You don't need to wake my phone up and make it go to sleep and do whatever you want to with the contacts and send out emails.
What got me was I was at Walmart, and I love it. Twice a year.
Wally's World. Oh,
twice
Lord,
a year they release the Fruit Loops with the marshmallows in it twice a year.
Why?
So I goes down.
Do you know this, man?
So I goes down the cereal aisle, and I get a coupon clipped up on my phone for Kellogg's, and I'm like, how did they know I was in the aisle?
Because you had your tracking on your phone.
Right, I had and again, when I downloaded the Walmart app, because again, I had a credit card at the time to see my balance and stuff, I gave them permission to use and even to turn on my tracking device, or what is called the MapQuest, whatever the thing is, location thing. So with that being said, that's why I took all that stuff off my phone, and I do what I do now. So as we move to the next story, which is Brock Turner.
Yo, Brock Turner came up with a whole new term. Now, if you remember, Brock Turner got a 6-month jail sentence for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman. People were super salty, like 6 months, really? But then he was a Stanford swimmer, so they felt like he got off because of privilege, right?
It felt like, or he did
Well,
get
he
off
did.
because of privilege?
That's what they argued,
Right, okay.
and so he probably did. Now he's
He
saying,
got the complexion for the connection. He flexing in his complexion.
no, we're not giving that to him. You're not gonna take that from old girl and give it to him. Not Brock Turner. Shut it down. Not today.
Really?
So what happened was, he's arguing now he shouldn't have been convicted of intending to commit rape because he only wanted outer course. Let me say it again. Say it
I like that.
again. He
like
only
it like
wanted
that.
outer course. So
Because
his
intercourse is in. Outer course, he just wanted to rub
It's
on
just
it a
called
little
dry
bit.
humping. That's all it is dry humping.
Okay. But is that what he did?
No.
Okay, then you got it. You wanted outer course, but you got intercourse.
The lawyer went before a 3-judge panel in California in San Jose on charges of sexual assault of an unconscious person, sexual assault of an intoxicated person, and sexual assault with intent to commit rape. Now, she was attacked after a fraternity party back in 2015, and not one, but 2 witnesses said they found Brock Turner on top of her, thrusting on her unconscious body by a dumpster near the fraternity
Were
house.
they were they naked? Were there was some
Her dress was pulled up above her waist.
or is her panties on? These are
He
key
told
questions.
the police he removed her underwear
Brock, I was with you.
and penetrated with fingers, but never took his own pants off.
You got to get the want, dude. I was with you for a moment, man. That maybe you had an argument, but you know you penetrated.
An argument.
You penetrated. Your penis and the finger is the same. Your finger may not have enjoyed it, but your penis was anticipating.
So what happens is that now you've gone there with her, and you're saying that you were only intending that part of it because you hadn't gotten your pants. But they might have caught you before you just finished, basically.
But again, that's speculation.
But you already here with it.
He's saying that since he did not penetrate and his pants were on, and he was dry humping her with his fingers. Yo, come on. What I'm saying is that again, this is just one of those things where, it's you can play with it all you day long. But again, he didn't have any intention. But we're gonna move on this and move away from this because again, we're limited. As we move on, we're gonna go to the flip coin.
Oh, I can't even understand why they thought this was a good idea. So what happens is, this is our second time reporting on some cops lately in Georgia.
Yes.
So what's going to happen is that you have 2 officers that were fired after body cam footage showed them using an app called Coin Toss to determine whether or not they should arrest a woman.
Are you serious?
After a traffic stop.
Wow. But I know that she's white, so I'm hate to say that if you're watching on YouTube, again, become a YouTube follower at the KonnecT show. If you see, so she's white. I wonder if they've ever tried that on a black person. White person, they get the flip of the coin. We get that. You taking your ass to jail.
Or a bullet. So
I wouldn't mind the flip on the bullet because you may have a chance.
I mean, no, I'd rather have the flip all day than the daggone bullet. Shit, the chucks.
But what if the flip is about the bullet? So if
then there's a lot of
heads
Negroes
you get shot, tails you don't.
Well,
come on, tails.
at least they got a 50-50 chance because the way it's going sometimes with these cops, it's just 100% chance of them being shot.
True indeed.
So the community relations manager for Roswell confirmed that Courtney Brown and Christy Wilson. Now, as women come and make so many strides moving forward in a male-dominated career path like law enforcement,
You have this, but
they decide to use an app. They, quote, engaged in conduct on or off duty, which adversely affects the efficiency of the department and has a tendency to destroy public respect for the employee or the department.
Because if you don't lock somebody up that should be locked up and they go commit a more terrible crime, and then come on now. And then if you lock somebody up that loses their job over a simple ticket or something like that, then they lose their livelihood. Now they homeless. So you're messing with people's lives here, people.
Yeah, because the girl who was being arrested, her name is Sarah Webb. She's saying, "Why am I being arrested?"
Because you got tails, biatch.
So she's like, these people who are supposed to protect us and instead are treating our freedom and our lives like games. It's disgusting. It's scary to think police officers do stuff like that.
And you look at her face. She do not want to go to jail. She do not want to go to jail. But
the officers use the term A for arrest or R for release for tails.
So sad.
And they saying this is tails, right? Yeah. So release. And it didn't work out. I think, or maybe they did release her. I'm not sure, but whatever happened, it didn't go well.
Okay.
Like.
All right, so as we move on with the show.
Oh yeah, she got arrested.
Well, the flip didn't work in her favor. You didn't have the connection, you didn't have the complexion for the connection on that one. So the next one is crazy too. The Florida man shot in the parking lot dispute, as we talked about earlier about road rage.
This stand your ground. First of all, I haven't been to Florida since Trayvon Martin. To be honest with you, I've quit messing around with Florida. I've unable to spend my money there. 17 times. Yeah, no, I'm not me. I feel uncomfortable with you because every time I turn around, y'all got something ridiculous happening in the news.
Yeah, Florida has some weird people.
They got some foolishness going on. So what you have is a young man whose girlfriend and children are in a car when they're in a handicap spot. When a man comes with his privilege and he says, basically get out of this spot. It's handicap. You're not supposed to be here. He's got his gun on him. So the boyfriend comes out to protect the family, concerned that the guy is about to do something crazy because the guy is going off.
Right.
He's yelling at them. And like I said, he was armed and he pushes them. Immediately, the man draws his weapon and kills the boyfriend.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I see the man on the
ground. As soon as he hits the ground, he reaches for his gun and shoots the guy. Like as soon as when you watch the video, it's immediate. Like he didn't wrestle with him. As soon as he fell down, he got his gun out of his waistband and shot the guy. He's stand your ground law.
So is the guy on the ground white?
Of course.
And the guy that's standing is black.
Of course.
This is crazy. Now I wonder if it was the other way around, what would have happened?
Oh no, he would have been protecting his family if it was the other way around, and that's the problem. Like, come on, bro. Like, if you're a man and you see someone who seems to be threatening your family in a car over a parking space, then of course you're gonna come out and be upset. Why are you yelling at them? Why do you seem to be approaching them in a manner as though this is about to get violent? You're going to try to stop the situation. The guy who hit the ground didn't even say anything. He's just like, gun, shoot, bam.
They're not going to even charge him.
And because he's using that law, another punk with a gun possibly gets away with something. And the reason I say punk is because he pushed you. If you was a real man, throw them hands. You know what I mean? Like, if you really were like, oh, okay, I'm standing my ground, then fight him.
I have nothing to say on this story. My heart hurts because the family witnessed his murder. And again, knowing Florida, knowing the Trayvon Martin case and some other cases, knowing that he won't be prosecuted, knowing there will be no justice, another black man's gone.
So once again, I will highlight black people stay out of Florida.
That's not even funny. I think
it's not funny. I'm being dead serious.
Florida, we have to somehow get some people in there to change that legislation. That's ridiculous. Because again, like I said, if it was the other way around, if the black man would have pulled out a gun and shot him for disrespecting his family, he would have been in jail for life. And that's the crazy part. He can't even protect his family. He didn't do anything wrong. A man is holding a gun on his family. He comes out and try to protect his family, and the guy's going off. He pushes him, and then he dies.
Then you need to make a decision, Ra. Either voting works and you're for voting, or you're for people staying out of certain places.
I'm for, again, Florida's one of them open and carry. I think we need to get more legalized African Americans.
So then you're saying
that carry
vote.
guns. No, I'm just talking about carrying guns. If that young man would have had a gun, this wouldn't happen. But my thing is that,
so
again,
you think he should have approached him with a gun?
The stand your ground law. If somebody is approaching you and yelling and everything, you can stand your ground and shoot them. That's exactly what can happen.
Oh.
Because again, he pulled out a gun. I'd have pulled out a gun. We would have been shooting each other. But black
he wouldn't
people
even
don't
had
use
a chance to pull out his gun. To be honest with you, he could have been packing. The man
don't know.
pulled his stuff out so fast. The only person who could have saved that situation with a gun would have been the girlfriend.
How's that?
Seriously.
Oh, if she would have had a gun.
Because he pulled it out so quick. Like
Yeah.
as soon as the boyfriend pushed him and the guy fell and hit the ground, he pulled his gun out.
Yeah, but
So
the reality
girlfriend-
is that we're not leaving Florida. I mean, we're not going to leave.
Same thing with Mississippi and Alabama. Now, what happened in Alabama now is a bunch of black females are running for different posts.
Yeah.
So now is when you're voting that you were like, voting doesn't
I said
work.
local elections, but not nationally. Local elections, if you get some officials in the municipality that can change some of these laws, or like I said, when a black man shoots a white person and said, I'm standing my ground, that should not have to be, now let's look at the legislation, because that's what's going to happen. Soon as a black person does that and say, I was standing my ground, because, matter of fact, speaking of that, Trayvon Martin's, the Jay-Z Trayvon Martin, what is it called? Documentary is coming out soon, and you're gonna watch that. It's going to be on Spike TV. So with that being said, we run out of time.
We did talk that on another show.
So let's just keep the show moving. We talk about the American
Black Film Festival. That is got a little special twist to it. It's got a Greenlighters Academy, and it's the second annual event of this film festival. It's supposed to be a program that's a pipeline to give students with an interest in the executive pathway. Okay. So not people who want to be in front of the camera, but people behind the scenes like yourself.
Executive president of
who would like to be such things with titles. A first-hand look to the inside and corporate part of the film and television industry. So if you're interested in maybe doing some kind of behind-the-scenes work in movies and television, take a look at the American Black Film Festival. I think it's back in Los Angeles now.
Okay. All right. As we go on to the Oregon Komen Foundation.
The Oregon Komen Foundation. So what's happening is there's an initiative going forward that's going to try to assist black women with breast cancer, because apparently 1 in 9 black women will be diagnosed at some point with breast cancer. Of those women, 42% are likely to die.
Damn. So
more so than other groups.
That's a high percentage.
It's a high percentage. So it's the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and they're hoping to do a little bit of change. It's in the Oregon and Southwest Washington chapter. And they launched an initiative to collect data about the disparities in the black community to learn how healthcare providers can reduce what's happening with women with with breast cancer.
With an addendum to that, the reason that the rate is so high is because if you choose to go with the chemotherapy is what kills a lot of those folks, and it's been proven over and over that chemotherapy kills all cells, not just the cancerous cells. So with that being said, that's probably why the rate is so high. That's why it's always good to go through to a private and get a nutritional doctor, because your nutrition will definitely help out.
One of the other things, don't forget vitamin D. We found out will do a lot to help you.
Yes.
And I'd also like to implore you to do a little research on your deodorant, because that's when I found out about the link between deodorants and breast cancer.
Okay, as we keep it on, we're talking about Miss Obama.
Michelle. All right.
All vote.
So she's not running for, any offices or anything
yet.
But in November, she's trying to rally people out to vote, and she's trying to get the youth out as an initiative called When We All Vote. She's putting out a PSA encouraging people to start a conversation across America about being active participants in our most basic American responsibility, voting. So she wants viewers to do this by speaking with friends, family, neighbors about hopes, dreams, and desires for the future. So just how we were talking just now about voting, and you were saying how important it is in local elections, it absolutely is. And she's joined by Tom Hanks, Janelle Monáe, who we were just talking about earlier.
Of course, Miss Janelle. She's always active in the Black community.
Chris Paul, and Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda. So these are just a few people that are going to be featured in a YouTube video that Michelle has coming out. Right. So go get him, Michelle.
Shout out to Michelle. And as we move on,
go get him. Chance the Rapper always has his hand in something, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
All right. So Chance the Rapper actually just bought the Chicagoist, and he's a publisher.
That's what's up. He got to get an applause on that, because that means now he can control the narrative to a point. So shout out to Chance the Rapper.
He also put out 4 new songs in one night.
No, it's not surprising, because again, I don't need know none of his music. I know his activism more than I know about his music. So with that being said, shout out to Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, and in one of the songs, he announced that he had bought the Chicagoist. It's called... the song is called I Might Need Security. And he said, I bought the Chicagoist just to run you racist bleeps out of business. And then he put out a more traditional statement later on through news channels. I particularly love that picture, and that's why I picked it. Like, wow, I'm getting you suckers with everything.
As we keep the show moving on.
Why you gotta just shut down my one?
Nah, we got time crunches.
Okay, fine. They're coming out with a Shuri comic spinoff. Do you remember where Shuri was from?
Wakanda.
Black
Panther, man.
So she's actually gonna get her own comic series.
Oh, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
It's gonna be a spinoff. You know, they don't have a lot of female stars in comics, let alone those from Africa. So that's exciting to see that, you know, she's about to get her own spinoff. And I guess since she's not orange, people won't complain about it.
But they may complain. She's not feminine enough.
Oh, gosh. People always got something to say. Everybody got something to complain about. Let's talk about, speaking of Black Panther, Daniel Kaluuya. All right. So he's going to be in a romantic comedy. And remember, he was in Get Out. Yes. And he was also in Black Panther.
Yeah, he played
the husband of old girl. Yeah, he was like, "Would you kill me, my love?" She was like, "Anything for Wakanda." So he was like, "Let me just get off this rhino."
I guess my Dizoid is not doing what I thought it was going to
do. He needs to put his face in that place. Anyway, he's gonna be starring in a romantic drama called Queen and Slim, and Lena Waithe is actually one of the writers for it. So, you know, Lena, right?
If you say I do.
She's done so much. She did One of Many, Master of None. What is that?
Oh, yeah. You talk. Oh, yeah. But did she also part of Chicago?
Yes. She's done a lot of stuff.
Chicago. I mean, not Chicago, but the show they do in Chicago.
The Shy.
The Shy, yeah.
She worked for Chicago. Master of None. I said One of Many. Yeah. Master of None and The Shy.
Yeah. I wish we had photos of them, but we don't. So with that being said, you know.
Sometimes, you know, I'm going to get our producer on track.
Yeah. So as we move on, really, we're going to talk about Cardi B.
Aww.
Refusing to. Really?
I'm cold.
Okay.
Anyway. So what happens is, I know it's 76, but I'm cold.
A steam engine in this one.
It's not warm at all. Anyway, so Cardi B has dropped out of the Bruno Mars tour saying that she met her match. And she's saying that she thinks she underestimated what it was
To be a mother.
to be a mom.
Yeah, I get it.
She says she thought she could bring her on tour, but the doctors are saying no, she's too young. And she says she can't leave her baby, not even for a second. So some people suggested she hire a nanny. She's like, nah. But it's so hard because she wants to be with her baby all the time, and she likes doing her hair and things of that nature. So she dropped out for that reason, hopefully. But she is supposed to be dropping some new music in the fall. So
shout out to
Cardi
B.
Yeah, she found out how real it is, and it is real. All right, so let's talk about Sue Surf.
What's going on? I hear that name in a long time.
I haven't heard about Sue Surf in a long time either. But
we had an interview with him somewhere.
I don't feel like we did, but okay. Anywho, Sue Surf was shot in Newark.
What?
Which is his hometown. You know, he's a New Jersey battle rapper.
Right.
The news just came out yesterday.
Oh,
so
okay. Shout out to his family. I hope he's okay.
Well, he's expected to pull through. They haven't really released too many details, but they said that he was in surgery and that they're expecting him to really turn out okay. So
all right. Well, shout out to the Sue Surf fans, and we'll keep you posted on as information is released.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Now let me tell you about Brandy, another name we haven't heard in a while. I was like, what, Brandy? All right, so Brandy actually, her discography has been streamed more than 1.5 billion times.
What?
On all digital platforms, making her the only artist from the 90s to achieve this.
Wow, Brandy's still pumping them like that, and she don't even tour, do she?
Well, what happened was she put out that music with Chris Brown.
Oh, and the people wanted to get reacquainted with her.
Yes. So she put out that album Heartbreak on a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so she had Chris Brown, who co-authored a few tracks on it. So it helped revitalize
ain't
her.
Heartbreak on a Full Moon Chris Brown's album?
Well.
Oh, she's on it, I think?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
No. Brandy has her last album.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's her album. I'm like, what?
There was no hits on there for me. I didn't like that album.
What? I liked Full Moon, the song. I just, Anyway, so let's talk about Lil Durk, because he recently transferred to a different
prison.
What? I was not going with that at all. He's now with Alamo Records. He left his little hometown of. Well, not hometown, but he left Def Jam Records.
Def Jam South?
Def Jam Recordings.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay.
And he's now with Alamo. And I was like, who the heck is Alamo? But it's under Interscope.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, he's still okay. All right. Well, shout out to Lil Durk.
And he's also from Chicago.
Okay. Shout out to Lil Durk.
So we'll see if anything happens. Like, Alamo has a SoundCloud that I went to. Mm-hmm. And they had some up-and-coming people. Woohoo. So he seems to be on that list with some of those. Did you hear about the book that the founder of Nike actually put out?
Shoe Dog?
Yeah. I did not really know too much about Phil Knight, but he had a best-selling memoir called Shoe Dog. Now they're going to make that into a biopic on Netflix.
Which makes sense. I mean, Nike is an iconic symbol.
How ballerific is he?
I have no idea, because he didn't pay much for the swoop. We know that.
He started off with $50 that he borrowed from his father. Mm-hmm. $50 freaking dollars.
Yeah, well, he's definitely one of the rich ones.
He definitely is. I'm just wondering how much he's worth, because I can't find any true numbers to go with him. But anyway, and last but not least, let's go over these pictures with Winnie Harlow. Winnie Harlow has what Michael Jackson said he had. Which is vitiligo, but she never completely lightened her skin. But there's been a little controversy. Now, she's got that picture up there with Wiz Khalifa, and that kind of put her out on the map. But she's a model.
I think what's the name had her on his show a couple of times. Wildin' Out. What's the producer? The incredible guy. The guy that was married
Nick
to
Cannon.
Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon. Be with her a lot. She's a pretty girl.
She's beautiful. And she was also in Beyonce's Lemonade, where they first started to notice her. And now she's associated with Wiz Khalifa. So now people are also saying that she was wearing makeup that she wasn't wearing in conjunction with her skin. So let's highlight a few facts. Number one, she really does have vitiligo. Number two, on our screen, the chick that's in the left-hand bottom corner is white, and she doesn't have vitiligo. This is actually blackface. I'm gonna need y'all to stop doing it. Stop saying that you want to look like Winnie and you're putting on black makeup. That's not cool. So I just wanted to highlight those 2 points, but I also wanted to note that she's been inspiring other people with vitiligo to embrace their skin color. But yeah, at some point she did some smoky eye and some nude lipstick, and people are like, oh, she put on makeup. And it's like, bruh, no, she's still very much embracing. And she's also an activist for people, with that skin condition. So shout out to Winnie.
Shout out to Winnie
for flexing in her complexion.
She's definitely doing her thing, and I got to give it to her.
And what would you like to say moving on?
With that being said, I want to thank you guys for playing with us on another wonderful show. We're going to start being a little bit more consistent as normal. We're going to go to 2 shows starting in August. We'll see 2 shows per week. Remember, if you're not a YouTube fan, you get to see us in person. You get to see the beautiful Sapphire Hope Wonder, future porn star, and you get to see me, the delightful, delectable, and sweet, and with the dimples. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You get to see me as well. So with that being said, all I got to say is try to find your happiness within this summer. I know the weather's been down on the East Coast, but remember, as long as you're happy and you're happy with self, nothing else matters. With that, I'm going to leave you with the beautiful Sapphire.
By the way, Phil Knight is worth $33.7 billion.
Damn!
But Jeff Bezos is $143.1 billion. So
one of the richest humans on earth.
With Amazon. Dang. Okay, so with that being said, I just wanted to remind everyone that regardless of how you look, take a little pride in your looks. We've had 2 stories. I started off with some looks. I ended with some looks. Whatever your look is, show some pride in it. Take care of it. I actually had a guy, I think he was from a part of India. I'm not sure. I don't remember what part he said. But he was looking at my nails and he was like, oh, you shaped your nails and da-la-la. And I was like, yeah, I like to do different things. And so, whatever you like to do with your body, just have pride in it. Wear it like it's supposed to be worn. With that being said, I'm Sapphire Hope Wonder.
And this is DJ Ra, and we're going to leave you with the In My Feelings channel. That things that went awry.
Gotta be real with it.
This car's going so fast. Why?
Are you riding?
Them little short songs.
Never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you always, KB.
Ooh. How they knock the phone down that was on the sink?
She ain't got no bra on, nothing. Look
Well,
at her.
at least they didn't hop out of car. Okay. There's a lot of rocking back and forth. All right. They seem to be okay.
Wait for it.
If something went wrong. Did somebody do that in the camera? Oh, okay. Why do they have to hop out the car while it's moving? Get back in the car.
And she ain't had no heels on or nothing. She got no excuse.
No, just get in the car.
No.
What the heck is happening here? He said no, it's your fault. Why? Does the car have to?
Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you always, KB. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave.
Ooh, she ran into to the
Until
door.
next week, peace, love, and hair grease.
This is the KonnecT Show on Wu-Tang Radio.
We also on Spotify and also on iTunes. With that being said, until next week, this is DJ Ra.
This is Sapphire Hope Wonder. And when you're looking for us on iTunes or Spotify, you may have to put in Wu-Tang first.
With that, until next week, peace and love.